Welcome to the Delco Nerd Network Hot Takes. What's a hot take, you may ask? Well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, talk about a video game, a movie, or TV show. Today, we're going to be talking about a TV show, and that TV show is Marvel's Daredevil Season 3. Of course, to discuss with me, Chris Trio, and a newcomer guest, Mike Lissachi. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Mike. One more time.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
We had to restart.
We had to restart. So we just lost only like 5 minutes. But full spoilers, right off the bat. Forever's here. We're going deep into it.
So Mike, give your opinion again.
Just a slight.
So before the mic was muted, Anthony said he liked the show a lot.
I fucking love this season.
I kind of disagree. I'm half and half with that. It felt very rushed. I felt like I think last 3 episodes they just shoved everything in, and that's where it really got good. It just the beginning, it was cool. Middle, I guess, what'd you say, 4 to 9? I felt
I feel like 4 to 9 is the drag out period.
It drug on a little bit. I honestly didn't even watch the episode about Karen and her backstory. I watched a YouTube video on it. I just don't like her as a character. But yeah, I just feel like they just shoved everything in those last 3 episodes.
What about you? I know we were talking, but you didn't really give your opinion.
Overall, I really liked this season. I will say I personally found that it dragged or tried to rush a lot of things. I thought most things were set up and executed in a way of that makes sense. I get this person's motivations and I get why this is happening. I was saying how I usually don't like these 13-episode seasons. I think that they usually end up being drawn out. And
I was really surprised that they did 13 because did you watch Iron Fist season 2?
I didn't even touch that.
Yeah,
okay,
it was 8 episodes.
They went from 13 for all their first seasons was 13, and then season 2 was 8, and I'm like, that makes sense because obviously I feel like every other Marvel show besides Daredevil is doing relatively shitty, which is why Luke Cage and Iron Fist got canceled. I'll assume.
I watched Luke Cage. I didn't like that either.
I liked the first season a lot. I liked the first season of Jessica Jones a ton too. Actually,
the second season was terrible.
I didn't even watch the second season. I didn't watch the second season of Luke Cage.
Bad.
And I saw the stuff for Daredevil, and I will give it to credit on Daredevil. I was like, oh, I actually want to watch this. I watched the trailers and was like, I'm kind of excited to go in and actually check this out. Whereas I was seeing stuff for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I was like, no, I'll get to it if I get to it. You know what I mean?
And if not, whatever. And
exactly.
And at this point, I think you're okay with not watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I would put this season 3 on par with, Winter Soldier. I fucking loved it. I really loved, every second of this season. For some reason, I think I started on episode 4 and I watched to 6 and I watched 3 episodes in a row and I was, engrossed.
I will say that, too. I was
between,
the same way.
The development of Poindexter into Bullseye, especially when they go from okay, this guy seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not.
He is severely not normal.
Oh no, he's not.
Dude, I loved his character. I thought he was phenomenal.
He was definitely
I
one of my
enjoyed
favorite
watching Dex every time he was on the screen.
Because I think the only reference to Bullseye we've seen in live action is Colin Farrell and fucking
it was just
that's the only movie.
I
think that's it.
I mean, Bullseye is man with his the target tattooed in his head or whatever it is. Yeah, man, I really think they did a fantastic job in just setting up his characters and his motivations for why he's doing things.
He was full Bullseye, but we really didn't get to I was hoping he would suit up in something different. But I think they're if we get a season 4,
he's going to be the main bad guy. Yeah. I think that the way that they set him up with his psychological issues and the way he's basically a sociopath or psychopath. What's the word?
I think he's psychopath.
And you find out he killed his coach when he was younger with a ball, and it goes back through all these flashbacks with his
therapist.
Therapist, thank you, and just setting up why he is the way he is and how he regiments his life. And she talks about how he needs his North Star, or if he doesn't have that, he needs to be in a super regimented job like the FBI or something like that. And they really they set up his character super well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's 2 episodes where they really set in stone this is him, and now you're gonna watch him go.
And even the stuff with his what was his girlfriend not girlfriend
Julie?
but the chick
Julie.
The way they set that up, I was like, oh, he's gonna go off the deep end and kill her. He's gonna.
I totally forgot about her. It's how did Daredevil even know?
I knew that was
her?
Fisk when he got the message back saying leave me alone.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, he's fucking.
Oh really? I didn't.
Julie in the phone shop, she was so into it. Yeah, I'll definitely help you out. But then immediately when he texts hey, can we talk?
Immediately I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's like that was given away. I'm like, Fisk did something.
Because like
I didn't think about that at all.
He
Good
listened
catch.
to all, he was with all his tapes, and he's like, oh, he needs to manipulate him into. That's why he hires her at the hotel to begin with. Then he tries to get her in, but then because you even see the one, it shows a point of view when they're in the coffee shop talking for the second time. It's like from an what's the camera
like a CCTV camera,
exactly, and I was like, oh, I
camera.
assume that's Fisk. Like watching him. Because, I mean, even you see later in the season, like, he's got his whole setup. He's watching everyone that he needs to watch. But, yeah, I was assuming he was going to go off the deep end and kill her. But, like, I thought they made it good. Like, when he approaches her on the boardwalk, he's like, listen, I'm sorry. I want to do this in public because I didn't want you to make you feel weird. And I was like, oh, wow, this is not the way I expected.
I mean, this is pretty weird, but keep going.
No, it's super weird.
180.
It was a different, weird way to go, though. That's what I appreciated. But, yeah, I thought Poindexter...
fucking great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He really was.
In regards to, I guess, the beginning of the... So, did you watch Defenders?
I did not.
Okay, so you didn't... Did you understand, like, what happened to Matt, like, after that? Or, like,
Sorta,
why he was so fucked up?
Like, how he ended up at the beginning of season 1. Like, why he was all beat up and shit.
No.
Okay, so he kills Elektra, and... So there's this building called Midland Circle, and
it explodes or something, right?
It's where the hand
collapses on him.
It literally collapses, and he's stuck in the rubble, and we think he's dead at the end of Defender season 1. But we do get the end credit scene when he's in the bed, like in the convent, like with the sister. So we know he's not dead. Also, that's how Born Again, the storyline this season's based off of, starts.
Yeah.
So he gets fucked up from that. So. This must take place like a few weeks after that, so probably it's kind of like out of context of the timeline. But anyway,
yeah, you don't get like
that's
a definitive
kind of why he's like that. So I think it's kind of if people like want to watch stuff before this, obviously season 1 and 2 are a must, and then if you really want to jump into Defenders without watching anyone else's show, you can totally do that. But
my favorite part of that about Defenders, I don't love that season, but I don't hate it either. Is the first half of them all getting together and like working together and stuff like that. It's really cool to see, and I think you might appreciate that if you appreciated this, but it's not necessary to go back and watch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one thing I really loved about this season was like the whole overall theme of like Matt basically struggling with his faith. Was the idea, and I found that to be just like a really interesting and cool idea.
Because no other superhero really is like very like
it's not religion isn't as core to them.
Not, like,
it's rarely spoken about too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't like hit you in the head with it, but like he is.
But
really
that's why
religious.
he does what he does because he thinks God gave him these powers to do so, and that's his whole thing. And you see him struggling. Yeah, exactly. And I just thought it was a very interesting struggle to see him be like, no, fuck you, Father. Fuck you. Fuck this.
Fuck this
is
church.
ridiculous. If God really... Yeah, like, it was all just really interesting and cool, especially seeing that perspective of you don't see... Like, Matt Murdock is supposed to be... He's not overtly religious, like you're saying. He's not going to shove it in your face, but that is a core thing of him. Of Daredevil.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting plot line to explore, I felt. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's really dope. And then... So... I knew because one of the big parts of Born Again, the comic arc, is Sister Maggie's introduced, and you find out that's his mom. Did you see that coming at all, or no?
No, I did not.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so I knew the whole time.
Like, what was going on there? It was cool though. It kind of like makes sense, but I never.
It's really interesting. I'm like, how the hell would that ever happen? Yeah. Like, how would a nun like?
And I thought that was all very interesting how they explained it. Like, they did the like little flashbacks of like her seeing him in the ring, and then like. Then you see her just sitting there with Matt, and he's crying like as a baby, and she's just literally looking off into the distance, dead-eyed.
Just like, no fucking...
And she starts talking, she's like, oh, back then we didn't know much about like postpartum depression and like all that stuff, and it was really interesting to just think about that.
It's funny because, we've never, like, you never get any sort of information on her.
No, they never really even mention his mom.
No,
it's all about his dad.
Yeah. Battling Jack Murdock. Yeah, so you didn't like Karen.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
And I think the low point of the season, I said it before we had the restart, but the low point for the season, I think, is that 30 minutes of where we go back to Nebraska, where the fuck we are, and we get this flashback with Karen. Did you watch Stranger Things season 2?
I did. I actually.
You know that episode where they go to Detroit? And
I don't
the
think it's
whole
that
episode,
bad,
And
but
it's
yeah, I get what
Elle
you're
like
saying.
with the other person.
Oh, the British girl?
Yeah.
I honestly I thought that was in Europe until someone was like, no, it was in like Pittsburgh. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's in like
Yeah,
Detroit
yeah.
or something. But like I hated that episode because it was so
It was
out.
unnecessary. It was
Yeah,
unnecessary.
it's so like
unless
yo,
that she comes back in a future season, but I mean like
well, not even for that character's point, but just like the show was. It's
The story-
like,
just from a
let's
story point,
rip,
yeah.
Let's just like rip like everything out of the show and just do like a random episode. Like that's what I felt like that part was. Not that it wasn't relevant, but it was just like this isn't what the show is. Like why we here? At least it wasn't a full episode.
No, it's
That
funny.
would have
I'm,
been rough because I was like,
I'm on the total opposite side of that. Like I really, at first when I was like, oh, we're going back to this, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care about. But like the first 10 minutes once I got into it,
care.
I was like, oh, this is actually cool. You're seeing why she can't go back home, why she doesn't want to go home, because you get these mentions of why, like what happened to her brother
what was
and
the
all that
reason?
stuff.
So wait, who
So-
dies in season 1? I thought it was her brother.
in season
Tommy or
1, what are you talking?
Who's
No,
the
that's
guy?
I can't remember. That's like a.
I thought that was her brother.
No. Her brother. What happens in the flashback is basically you see that Karen's living in her town. She's kind of like a druggie. She sells drugs with this like a major drug dealer in
Yeah, that's
town,
it.
and like she's getting into it, and she's helping her dad out with the diner, but her dad just doesn't seem to give a fuck. Like he's buying like a $5,000 grill that they have no money to pay for. She's like, Dad, I don't know what the fuck. Like, how am I supposed to get? And then her brother wants her to go to college because he sees like that she's starting to go down like a bad path and all that stuff, and it ends up being. Her brother goes out to confront the boyfriend, and like he punches him and like goes at him. And
Yeah, he
he's
tries to
"Fuck
burn
you."
down his like.
No, that's
trailer.
not. He's
Oh,
just
okay,
he's just
yeah,
at that
yeah.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just saying, "Get the fuck away from my sister. Stop seeing her." And then they drive away, and then they get back to his trailer, and he lit it on fire, like he torched it, and her boyfriend goes and beats the shit out of him with a tire iron, and then gets out a gun. Or no, what is no?
Yeah,
he
okay.
starts beating him.
Yeah.
Then he goes to get the tire iron
And
to
Karen
like really.
Karen shoots him,
And Karen kills him.
and she's on drugs at this point.
And drunk. And
so
like, yeah.
she takes her brother, and they try to drive away, and then she gets in an accident,
And
the
kills her
accident
brother.
him.
Like I
Yeah,
actually,
it's
like it
pretty
was
fucked
visceral.
up.
Like,
That's
and
pretty
that's
fucked up.
Maybe I
Like, it's
should watch
definitely
no,
like,
dude, I think it was and for just being 30 minutes, I think was the key. If that was the entire episode of going back, I would have been like, but I think they ended it right where they needed to. It gave me some, not needed, but interesting story beats to why Karen is the way she is, and I liked it.
I really like Karen Page in the show in general. I like her actor, and I like kind of where she is. Not my favorite, but I definitely don't hate it. So like in the comic Born Again, she's like a heroin prostitute, like drug addict.
Oh, really?
Like it's a very like opposite role where like okay, Karen Page is like she was like that in the beginning, but now she's like. You know, she's a journalist and she's got this job and a reputation and whatever. But like in the comic, it's like she sells Daredevil's identity to somebody and it gets to Fisk. Like that's how like it starts. So like it's a totally different take on it. But like that would have been so weird. Like imagine if like
well,
that's what
especially just the
happened.
way that they set her up in these past seasons. Like
Yeah.
that just wouldn't have made any sense. While we're on side characters, what do you guys think about Foggy?
I actually like Foggy.
Foggy's
a lot.
dope.
I like Foggy
I
too.
like his haircut too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
I like it.
suave. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I get that shit?
I'm like, dude, thank God you cut your hair. Like,
Yeah.
it's, like,
Season
so
1, you
better.
were just an avocado at law, man.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what you were.
No, I found him to be. He annoyed me a little bit more in the last seasons, but in this one, I found it to be more.
Because he kind of like
He's
found
tr-
himself. Like
Yeah,
he's
he
the
definitely
stat.
did.
Like
Yeah.
that's why I liked him a lot. He was a lot more sophisticated, a lot more respectable. It's just I enjoyed seeing him, and I wish he became district attorney. But
I know. I hate that. I hate
guess.
when they do that with shows. When like they set someone up to like be like
Be
a big
something,
thing.
yeah.
Nah, done.
Nah, never mind.
Nah, yeah. Like by the end, they just like throw it in the trash, and that's the end of that.
And I did love like the whole storyline of like friends don't give up on friends, you fuckhead. No matter even if you try and push them away as much as you can, they're gonna be there. And I
Yeah.
thought it was cool. I thought it was a
Marcy though, whew.
yeah. Damn,
She's
Foggy's
attractive.
just pulling it. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I was like, damn. I was
good
like,
for him. Good for him. I mean, good for Matt too.
What's the firm that they? I know she
I can't
works
remember.
for
It's a big-
Hogarth.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he works for a character in Jessica Jones. I forget the firm's name. It doesn't really matter.
It's probably Hogarth and something, but I don't know.
But Fisk.
I was literally about to say that. Yeah,
The King,
dude.
How about the Kingpin drop though? We got
Oh, it was
code name
great.
for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kingpin. I was like,
I was
oh.
like, finally.
I was like, because I didn't even think about it. Like I was talking to somebody at work, and like they were like, yeah, like they haven't said Kingpin once. I was like,
It's fun. I could have
really? I
sworn
was
that
like,
they
I
did in the
don't know.
first
I
season.
was like, I feel like
That's
they
funny.
have.
Yeah. But dude, no, Vincent D'Onofrio is so
one of the best
freaking
Marvel
amazing.
villains,
Yeah,
really.
easy. Like I
That's
just
the
don't-
actor of Fisk.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
just
I
the
love it.
viscerality, whatever I'm trying to say, the visceralness behind his just talking, even when he's like
He's very poetic.
very poetic, and even when he's like somberly talking to someone, like he sounds like he's gonna snap your fucking neck for no reason.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would
It's
never.
scary.
It's legitimately like
And
terrifying.
that's why I like once the show started picking up, like you just like once Fisk was like in the hotel and established and kind of like the gears were turning,
Finally
like
gets his suit
he's
on.
so like
Oh yeah, he gets the white.
dude, like
suit.
Yeah, I love
everything
it.
he
Like, that's
does
it.
is so
It's
like
just methodical and
it's so like savage,
Yeah.
like everything. Like he's somebody's watching you and he knows everything, but and he's
20
10
steps ahead,
of
yeah.
you, and like not even the like just Matt, like even like Nadim, who's fucking. I loved his character,
They
and I
really-
hated
yeah.
him in like the first 2 episodes. Like this guy's.
I
a dick.
agree.
Yeah,
I was like, you don't really
He's
like him in the
really-
beginning, but then you realize like. Oh,
He's just a guy
he was
trying to do the right thing. He really
was
is.
manipulated into getting that job or like getting into that position. I'm just like, what?
You know, they do a really good job of setting him up as like a
Fisk runs
sympathetic
deep,
character.
dude.
No, he does.
It's crazy. Like
And he-
once you realize like how deep like the FBI was like corrupt and like yeah, you like the reason you were targeted is just because like you were
an easy target. We
It
took
was
away
the
your
money
he took away his insurance so that way he'd be in a money pit, and then he just set him up to be in that position where he's very vulnerable. And oh, dude, Fisk, the way he talks all the time, and it's so insane. Like I don't know, like the
way
emphasis
he just doesn't stop.
No, but like just the way he speaks, I'm like, get the fuck away from me, man. I don't want to fuck with you at all. And even like when the fight with Daredevil at the end, that was really fucking crazy and cool too.
One thing I was upset we didn't see was Daredevil in his suit, which
And
kind
that's
of
why
bothered me.
I wanted to bring that up.
a little
Like, I
annoyed.
really wanted to see him in like the suit, like in
Again,
action. I know
yeah.
we saw Dex in it a lot, but
The only reason I think they didn't do that was because it felt like it would feel like a big retread of like the first season.
yeah.
Whereas like you didn't
so
get
he doesn't have it, I guess.
no, it got destroyed in the
middle of-
collapse. I
yeah.
assume.
And
And
I
then
guess
the other guy, when
Melvin
Fisk
Potter
had
and
Melvin
everything,
make
Make
two
another
more.
one.
Like the second one was going to be used
Did
to
you
frame
guys
him.
find it really funny when Dex was just throwing every object he could get his hands on?
Oh, amazing! But that's
Yeah.
Daredevil.
And like I'm like that
I mean,
is
not Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is hilarious. I was like,
Yeah.
he literally, like, the coffee cup and how it goes off the wall. I was like,
Oh, it's amazing when
I'm
he's
like, this is,
looking-
like, kind of funny. Like,
He's looking around the corner in the office fight, and then he's just waiting, and then
That-
he throws,
that
and then
fight
he
in The Office.
Amazing. He just wings a fucking something at him, bounces off the wall. And it's just like, God damn it! Like it's so good.
I think it's cool how, like, they don't explain it, and it just seems to be pure skill.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about Bullseye in the comics, and I'm pretty
fairly
sure it's
confident
just
it's
skill.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. But like the
Dude,
the
they
setup
don't-
with
they-
him at the end was a little. If we want to talk about on the nose for something.
Uh,
that was definitely a little on the
Yeah,
nose.
but, yeah.
No, it was just funny. Like, open his eyes. He has a bullseye in his eye. No, we know what's going on.
Just in case you didn't know,
This is
It's like, did you see Solo?
Yeah,
At the end when
Oh,
Maul comes in,
sorry.
they're like, by the way, it's a great movie. Fuck him.
I like it.
If you didn't know, I was Darth Maul. Here's my red lightsaber,
Yeah, it's like-
and I'm gonna twist it a few times, and it's me. So just to give you a heads up, but it's just
It's so unnecessary.
like how many other red-faced fucking horn guys are there in the galaxy? But like we get it. He's Bullseye. We didn't, but it was still cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I needed it.
And the way, dude, when Fisk,
I needed it.
oh, I know.
I didn't know.
When Fisk picks him up and slams him into the fucking
Does
corner.
he break somebody's back like that in season 1?
I don't know. He might.
I feel like he's done that before, but anyway, what were you saying?
Like, is Fisk? Does he have like superhuman strength? Or
No, he's just really
fucking
strong.
huge.
In the
Yeah.
comics,
he
he
just seems so disgustingly
In the
strong.
comics, I know he's like trained.
yeah, in
combat.
like a sumo wrestling style combat or something, which is
okay.
pretty
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much that transfers over to the series.
Probably-
but yeah, he's
probably
like
doesn't.
he is a physical force to be reckoned with, as well as just a psychological force. Like the way he set everything up and just meticulously planned out everything. They set him up to be like this really crazy, interesting villain. Like I was talking to Gooch, it makes me sad. We probably won't see any of these people in the actual movies.
I know.
And it really makes me upset. Like, because
Yeah.
I think Charlie Cox is like one of the best portrayals
He
of a
plays
superhero.
Daredevil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that we've seen. I think he's really up there with like, or honestly RDJ, and that like I can't imagine anyone else in this role now.
Yeah.
But and it makes me sad because we will never see Kingpin go up against like Spider. At least maybe this Kingpin go up against Spider-Man or anything like that. I don't know.
Well, you never
That's
know.
me.
I mean,
No,
it's
I-
not
that's-
like
You really
that's the
don't,
thing.
but like
at the end of
Marvel
the day,
TV and movies seem to be
They
so
never-
divided, and like Kevin Feige and Jeff Loeb's the head of the TV, they don't like.
They don't
each
get
other.
along.
It's
Really?
so weird.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if I was at Disney, I'd be like, fuck this guy, fuck Jeff Loeb, Kevin Feige. You got the TV shows now, make them good.
I
Make
think it's
everything
just.
together.
I think that's easier said than done though
Because,
when
like,
you got a guy that's been there for years.
Imagine, like one of my predictions for Infinity War was like when Thanos came to Earth, we'd get like Easter, like this is so Easter egg, but like we get a shot and be like Jessica Jones in a bar, like watching it, and that would be it, and or
that
like
would be
Daredevil,
cool.
like walking down the street and he sees something, and I'm like, that's all I would have wanted.
Like
and
I'd
that
love
would've
to
been
see
really
Matt
cool.
Murdock and fucking Peter Parker team up at some, but
Yeah, because you know, like
they're in the same
it's
fu-
weird how
like-
they reference the Battle of New York like it's
That's
no
it.
tomorrow
Yeah,
in the first season, but they won't. Like Spider-Man's a vigilante in New York. Why would none of you know about that? Like not
it's
even the
very
fact that
MCU adjacent,
they like
which sucks.
cheekily reference it. Like they didn't even do that.
No, yeah, it
Which
sucks.
kind of sucks because as these shows have gone on, they're just like, oh, let's name drop Sokovia.
And
There we go.
I
That's
do
it.
really think that's been to their detriment. Like I feel like
Which
if
is
they,
why the shows got canceled.
yeah, and I really think if they committed more to trying to fold it into the greater MCU, they'd see a little bit more success. But it's Marvel TV is very odd to me.
Yeah.
And
Because we don't know. Jessica Jones has a season. They started filming it, so it's gonna happen.
You know
soon,
what's
so.
crazy? And this just go
But
back
after
to
that, we
DC
don't know.
is like they're not so connected, but like with their TV and movie stuff. But like in the Flash,
No, they're
in
not.
the Flash time run back, or when he goes through the time tunnel, you see movie stuff. Like there are movie like universe stuff that you see in his flashbacks.
But DC
and
has
things
that,
like which is interesting.
DC
Yeah.
has the multiverse established, so like
No,
me
sure, you
thinking
can
like,
easily fold
like
that
all
back
this
in.
stuff is just a different universe
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, exactly.
You know, it does.
Whereas like Marvel isn't as known for that type of story. There
Story.
are different Earths in the Marvel universe, but they don't. I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? Capitalize
Yeah, like
on that
616
as
is the
much.
canon, but like it's not like Spider-Man from 616. Well, actually, that's a bad example because Spider-Man does team up with all the other Spider-Man from like all the different universes, but like Iron Man isn't like there's no like other version of Iron Man on another Earth that we like know about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least in the great MCU, obviously. But you ever hear? I read this comic. I don't know why I did. It was a free comic. It was Marvel's Apes. It was just every Doc Ock and Doc, and there's
Are you
like
serious?
it's all like an. It's
When
like,
was this
like
made?
I don't know, like 10 years ago. It was the funniest thing I've ever read. It's like, it's just about this one of the lesser known superheroes and this other chick going to like the Marvel's ape universe, and Captain America has been turned into a vampire ape. And he's trying to take over the. It's funny as shit. It's honestly, I enjoyed reading
Is
it.
it
I
meant to
can't.
be like as
It's a one-off.
comic?
Yeah, it's just a one-off.
I'm
but, like,
cringing like sitting here listening. To
It's
this.
fucking. They're like when it gets the reveal that he's a vampire, I literally laughed out loud. Like I was like, that is hilarious.
But anyway.
Tangent done.
Yeah, the Imposter Daredevil stuff was really cool. Dex in the suit was really cool. Yeah, I really just enjoyed the season, like wholeheartedly. Like there was really like nothing I really disliked. And one of my favorite points in the season was at the end with the Man Without Fear speech when he's
that was
talking
great.
about the father. Like so,
He's in.
do you know
church.
season 1 is based off the comic book arc, The Man Without Fear. Like when he's in that.
The
Black
black
suit
yeah.
when before he really becomes Daredevil. That's like an origin story for him. So that was like a nod to that. And I was just like, "Fuck yeah!"
No, that was he did. The speech was awesome. Everything, the closing was great, and it's funny. I'm trying
And
to think like
the
if there
story
were
really-
pacing stuff that I would change, and
I don't really think it has a pacing issue. Other than I can understand some episodes being like the plot kind of slows down for the sake of the season, but it doesn't feel like filler ever.
Oh, there was the good switch up of like when you think they got Fisk with Nadim's like testimony and all that shit,
I'm like,
and then
nah.
he just hears them all raffling off their names and their addresses, and he's like, "We're fucked. You fucked up." Like he gets like actually angry. I thought that was very cool and interesting, and then he gets up there and he's gonna kill him. And he's like, "No!" Like that's a really good
The
scene.
primal scream.
Yeah.
I hate it when Fisk is like sometimes just letting out a primal scream. I was like, oh.
Like, I didn't actually think he was gonna do it on spot.
And then he-
I thought it was
yeah,
just,
Dude, I love how he like
just
gets in the van
executed.
and like he screams, and I love to see if there was like a shot of like an FBI like
The fuck
the
was
fuck
that?
was that?
There, oh my god, there was there's one scene, the scene when he's talking with whatever her name is not girlfriend, this girl he's stalking. Someone posted a video of it and it made me laugh. It was like, well, this caught me off guard. And it's the part where he's going like, yeah, the FBI needed a scapegoat. And then he does.
Yeah. That was really weird.
I felt so uncomfortable when he did that.
I was like, maybe it's because he's just like an awkward dude.
No, that's exactly
But
that's I think what it was.
It really was. I was like, why did he just do that?
Just in public.
Yeah.
Just like,
No, it was pretty loud too.
Like someone from the other table.
It's like you see someone in the background like, what the fuck was that?
It's like,
it's funny.
I forgot about that.
I forgot too. Someone posted a video on one of like the groups I'm in on Facebook, and it was just like, I'm a little perplexed right now. Didn't see this coming, and I totally forgot about the scene. I'm like, what's gonna happen? And he goes, yeah, I'm a scapegoat. It's funny.
I think the season wraps up pretty well, and I like besides. See, I don't know if they could have like killed Fisk if that would have been all right. Like he's back in jail. Like okay, if they make another season, we'll probably see him again at some point. I don't think they'd ever. I couldn't imagine him getting out of jail again.
Like in that same fashion or anything.
Yeah,
it's
it would
just be
be
retreading.
Because like what I thought they were gonna do was like Defender season 2 would be Fisk, because they kind of. I mean, like he's a villain for all sorts of different Marvel characters.
Yeah.
He's not just central to Daredevil, and
it's
more
big
central to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
if anyone.
I thought he was mainly a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, I think that's where he like
integrated
originated
into
from.
Daredevil.
Yeah, it was his. But
Because I guess Daredevil did need like a good
And I'm not.
besides and even Bullseye's like
Bullseye.
well known, but not like a Fisk. And I don't know how well known Fisk would be. I really don't. To like the layman. But I don't.
Yeah, but everyone's in good places it seems. But like, yeah, it's really a question of like, are we gonna get a season 4? And like, the only thing I could think of is like doing a full blown Bullseye. But like, I don't really know any of his other big villains.
I don't either. I'll pose this
That's
question.
I was gonna ask you guys like, what other villains does he have?
Bullseye's the only one made one. I really don't know much about like Daredevil's not someone I've really like dug into. I really enjoy him as a character, and I really have enjoyed these shows and all that stuff. But I've never been like, oh, let me dive deeper into like his villains and like all that type of stuff. So yeah, Bullseye's
because
really
they've covered Fisk, Bullseye, the Hand, so season 2 is kind of adapted from the Shadowlands comic arc, which is like just involving the Hand. I don't really know much about it, but I didn't really like that part of season 2. I didn't like the Hand at all. I hated it.
Did you watch Punisher?
I did not. I hear such good things.
I would check it out.
That's
it's good.
It's brutal and awesome. Like that's
the inclusion of the Punisher was cool. Like I'm not sure if he would come back into Daredevil again, but like I don't even know if we're getting a season 2 of that.
We still are technically. They haven't canceled it yet. It's
hard to say like where it goes from here, because I mean like we know Jessica Jones season 3, but like after that there's no orders for new shows.
No, well, Punisher season 2, they do have an order for that. It hasn't been canceled yet, but
they didn't start filming. Is what I'm saying.
No. Did they start filming Jessica Jones?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But no, I Punisher that's a really good one. I think that's definitely worth your time, and that's one you can watch the first couple episodes. You'll know if you're into it or not by then, and you can. But
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, from what my friends are telling me, they say it's like there's a good amount of action, a lot of
it's really intense.
The drama's really good too.
It's more like a war story than anything. It's a very like like they're flashing back to like times in like Iraq and stuff. And
is the whole season just a big origin story for the Punisher?
No, in a way, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
They kind of like go over like
his time in
the
Afghanistan
part of
and all
the
that stuff
task force he was in, and like what fucked up shit they were doing, and like who was
I guess
involved.
technically it's you're figuring out how his origin came to be. I guess it would
why
be
he's so angry.
Well, like how because obviously his family was killed and all that stuff, but you find out how and why and what
who the people were there alongside him, who was his like CO, and then it goes into that. But it's good.
What's that actor's name too? Because I know
John
he's in
Bernthal.
The Walking. Yeah,
he's really good.
Very good actor.
Dude, he kills him.
General.
I think he's another one of those roles where you look at it and it's like he's the Punisher.
Yeah, he is. He really
he did a really good job.
I will say I still kind of imagine who was the guy who played him in the first. I don't hate that
Dolph
first
Lundgren.
movie. I can't remember his name.
Warzone.
Yeah, in Warzone. There's a part in Spider-Man where they wanted to have him cameo, but they couldn't get him, or like they didn't want something about the studio, so they used his stunt double. It's the scene where Mary Jane's like running in her wedding dress to Peter. You see you see a guy that looks exactly like him, like in the back, like dressed like in the trench coat and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
They also, you probably know that they wanted Wolverine in that movie. He was going to make a
Yeah.
cameo, but they couldn't get the costume. Guys, it's a t-shirt and jeans. How can't we get the costume? Like, what the fuck?
You're not wrong.
Or no, I'm sorry, a wife beater and jeans. My
I'm
apologies.
trying to think if there's any other points we want to hit.
Yeah, that's
but,
what I was trying to think about, too.
I think we've covered kind of everything. Yeah, like I really like this season, and I think it hit me on a level that Winter Soldier did, and I sit there and I think about this, and I'm like, what is my favorite Marvel movie? Even after Civil War, even after Infinity War, it's still Winter Soldier. I think Infinity War is good, but like plot wise, like it's kind of like
If you don't,
obvious, like what's gonna happen.
let's put it
to a
this way.
degree.
Yeah. You can sit down and, I think, watch Winter Soldier without any other prior Marvel knowledge at all.
Yeah,
You can pretty much enjoy it. Whereas if you go into Infinity War and you haven't seen anything,
No.
You'll be kind of.
you're going to
You'll
be
be
very
way
lost.
lost.
Like, I'd say you need to at least see half those movies, at least to even sort of, like, I hate saying, like, appreciate it. Like, I do. But, and does that make that movie a better or worse movie? I don't know. But, yeah,
I mean, because I recently went on IMDb's like top 250 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Infinity War is like I think it's number 14 or 15 or something like that.
Is that based on just scores?
Or is it just
I'm
there?
assuming,
I
I don't know how they score. I think it's just user reviews.
Yeah.
But, and I agree with you. Like, you need to watch at least a good amount of movies before you see Infinity War.
Mo-
But
most.
usually on that list, it's all like single movies that aren't linked to like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like
No,
New
that
Hope,
is
Star
interesting.
Wars, the very first one. I know Lord of the Rings is on there. Return of the King.
I would
Like,
be
other than
interested
that,
to
it's, like,
sit
single-
someone down who hasn't seen any of it. Like, anything. And watch it with them.
I
and
just
see
don't
what they're...
understand how could they even enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm curious to see if they could. Like,
Yeah,
that would be...
I'd be so confused.
That's
because
like they really just leave it like you have to know this.
Yeah,
Like, if you,
and by now,
like
you
you
should.
need to watch. I know for a fact you need to watch Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and I get what was it, Civil War? The one they go against each other.
Everything up until Avengers.
And-
You don't really need to watch Avengers 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Both of them.
I forget. There was like a list that
It's a lot.
IGN or someone put
There's
out
a
that were
lot.
like the quintessential. There's what 17 movies before Infinity War.
Yeah.
17 or 18.
Yeah,
I'd say you need to at least watch 8 of them. And there are more specific ones like Ant-Man. You can get away with not watching, obviously. I'm trying to think what else. Like
I didn't even
Just
watch
bullshit.
Ant-Man, so yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
The first one?
I didn't watch any of them. The
Okay.
Wasp, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is pretty good.
they're nice because they're just like little, in my opinion, little like palate cleansers, and like they're just these little concise stories. And I like Paul Rudd a lot, but I know a lot of people who haven't seen him. I think that about covers us though.
Yeah, I think closing out, I feel like, Daredevil season 3 is really enclosed. I feel like season 2 was kind of like we have
Left
more
it open,
characters.
yeah.
Here's Punisher, here's Elektra, also Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist was it?
Defenders is
Iron
coming
Fist was
soon,
good.
and
yeah, like this all this world building, because that's really what season 2 is about. But season 3 kind of got back to the season 1 formula of
this is the
let's
story.
tell
That's the
Daredevil
end of the story.
Yeah.
That's it. We can get more out of it if we want to, but we got to, at least for me, a full and complete story that can stand on its own.
So, considering you had the most different opinion of it, which you're kind of like, what's your like closing thought?
Is there anything you
I
would
mean-
have changed? Anything?
Because you said you didn't like it, but I feel like you kind of did.
I mean,
based on the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I didn't like it. I mean, I'm half and half. I'm indifferent. If scale 1 to 10, probably 6.
Okay, that's
wouldn't,
fair.
I wouldn't go out of my way to be like, dude, you gotta watch this. Like, it's awesome. But if someone was like, yeah, what do you think about Daredevil? I'm like, yeah, give it a try.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, like if
But,
you're a Marvel fan.
Yeah, I mean, the season as a whole, I did feel kind of bored, but as a whole, I think it was just not bad. It was whatever.
Okay,
honestly.
that's fair.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know. This is one of the ones that I didn't want to put down, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
with the show for
that
me
was
in a
my
while,
thing. I didn't
which was
wanna
surprising.
stop.
So, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think if you're a Marvel fan, it's definitely worth the watch. And if you
100%.
even sort of enjoyed the last seasons
'Cause
of Daredevil, I
I
think you definitely should. Check
We
it out.
haven't
But
reviewed
No, I agree.
a Marvel show on here, and that's kind of like we were between.
have we not? We didn't do one at all. I
No.
could have sworn we did one.
This is
season.
the first Marvel show we talked about, and we really don't talk about, like, I watched Luke Cage season 2 and Iron Fist season 2 and Jessica Jones season 2, where you really didn't,
Yeah.
and I had didn't have much
to
they were
say.
okay. Jessica Jones season 2 sucked, but
That sucks too, because that first season's so. Good.
and I really couldn't sit down and review them. Like, they really like
There's just-
I don't
they
know.
were there.
I
Take 'em or
could,
leave
but
'em.
like
yeah.
I don't know. They're just they're not. they're not that good.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
And it speaks a lot for what's going on with like why Luke Cage and Jessica Jones got canceled, and it sucks. The future's kind of like up in the air because like I remember when this was first announced, like I was like,
This is
fuck.
cool,
I was
yeah.
like, this is dope.
And I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but there's always that chance that we get a Heroes for Hire or something like that.
I feel like here. I mean, this is my theory. I was like, we're either gonna get a Heroes for Hire TV show with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, or they die in the snap.
Yeah, that could totally be it.
That's a great way to write a character out.
No, that's totally. But then that's another thing of like how much do they want to include from the movies and all that.
Yeah,
they really do need to figure that shit out. And we were talking about the other new series before this that are coming out from Marvel movies.
like
Which-
the Loki one.
Did you hear about that one at all?
Dude, I don't get that.
See, that's what I said. I was like,
See,
oh,
I don't really
Nah,
get
not really.
Loki choice, but I'm just happy that Marvel movies are making their own TV shows that are directly tied to the movies. Like,
I can.
it gets me
that.
more excited about, I guess, the idea rather than. I mean, I do enjoy Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I'm actually kind of interested to see.
I just
what
don't
they're gonna
understand
do.
what
He's perfect for the role, but a TV show just dedicated to Loki. I don't know
What story are they going to tell?
What is
exactly.
there?
I
Yeah.
think that they're.
Same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I don't know.
Well,
I'm just
I
saying
even
you
said,
told- if
well,
you-
I guess not. I guess Captain America or Bucky's not going to become
Bucky.
Captain America
Yeah.
because
See,
how
but
they gonna,
I
how they
don't.
gonna
I don't
do
think that that's a definite. I think that the TV show could be about them finding out who's better suited to be Captain America.
that
and all
would be
stuff.
interesting.
But
But
what was I going to say?
kind of weird because that's a big point. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but
It's a big handing of the mantle.
But I think people will still see that on their Disney. I think they're putting like movie quality money into these TV shows, and I think that's going to make a big difference. But I mean, if you talked to me however many years ago before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and we're like, we're making a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I would be like, what the fuck are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Like now, like you're saying a Loki, I'm like, okay, you made that work. I'll watch your Loki show.
You know what?
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we won't know until we find out. I'm
Exactly.
gonna be honest with you both. I probably won't watch it if it does come out.
That's fair.
I don't.
I mean, but I'll
I feel like I kind of
see
have
how
to. Like the only thing I didn't watch from Marvel, like I haven't watched any of the X-Men shows, Legion or the what's it
Gifted,
called?
the Gifted.
And then there's
Legion's apparently.
Mummies.
I started Legion and it was really cool, but I just didn't keep going with it.
I want this fucking Moon Knight show is what I want because it sounds very Daredevil. Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He's kind of like
He's a
kinda- very
Batman-ish character.
Batman-esque.
But like he's like his whole thing is he has is it multiple personalities or something. He's basically like schizophrenic, and he shares his body with like the moon god, like the
Yeah,
Egyptian moon
it's-
god or
it's-
something.
It's like a
It's pretty
scarab
crazy.
that gives him his.
Huh.
It's kind of like I think he finds a scarab and it gives him his powers.
But then
does he use a sword and shield by any chance?
no,
That's
that's Taskmaster.
Taskmaster.
I know. Yeah,
And I want to see Taskmaster in a Spider-Man movie so bad.
that would be really cool. But anything else, guys? Is there anything
No,
else we're missing?
I think it's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone so much for watching. If you're watching live, I see some comments over there. We'll get to you
I'm
soon.
about to go.
We really do appreciate it. You can find us on YouTube. Just search Delco Nerd Network on YouTube. Facebook, facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network, as well as Twitter and Instagram at the Delco Nerds. This will be on podcast services in about a week or so, under a week.
Probably.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. On YouTube, iTunes, Apple, Google Play, all that good stuff. Am I missing anything? I don't think so.
No, I think you're good.
Great. Thank you all so much for watching. For Gooch, for Mike, I've been Trio. We'll see you next time, guys, and stay nerdy.